The pendulum doesn't just swing and everybody goes broke at the same time.
That's right.
It's not true. Whenever there's a crash, whenever there's a depression, whenever there's a recession, you should smile. Because this means opportunity is begging us to make tons of money. Opportunity, begging you. So we see here that all you have to do is get an asset to be secured as interest. The bank is allowed to create and lend as much as debt as they want, as long as they do not exceed a 10-to-1 ratio imposed by the Fed. And you're like, what the hell does that mean? Just focus on the asset, the fact that you can make money, asset, offset, asset, sits on the throne, get your assets, get your offset. Put that black woman back on her throne. That's what asset means. And where's that throne at? In her house. That's where she raises God. Things a coincidence? And what's the biggest asset you can have now in history? A house. Because next to silver and gold, a house is the most highly esteemed and appraised asset in not just America, but the whole world. You can't trade in your used Jordans and think that the bank won't give you money. How many of you from the hood? Share me down. Who came from out the hood? I mean, say the hood, I mean, like when people shoot and you still stay outside and continue conversation. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Then you start making more money, you start realizing shit like that. So, alright, those of us that's from the hood, came from it, still there, okay? Where they throw baby Pampers out the project window. Okay, where niggas in wheelchairs shoplift. And you catch them in the club late at night doing stinky leg. Alright? When you from the hood, you learn a whole lot. You know what I learned? All that money I was buying on gold chains, gold teeth. When times got hard, you know what I did when times got hard? When times got hard, I tried to pawn the money. I tried to pawn the jewelry for money. And if you from the hood, when you pawn that jewelry in, that you call icy, bling blingy, and you turn that jewelry in, and you spend $3,000, you robbed somebody, you lied to your grandmother, you stole from a pension, you messed up your wife's credit, and you turn that $3,000 chain in, and they say $300. And you ready to kill the jewelry man, like, yo, you thinking he jerked you? But you don't realize. Wealthy people, when they buy assets, they appraise for higher. Poor people, when they buy assets, the second they leave out the door with it, it loses value. Go ahead and buy you a nice car. Every mile you drive away from that dealership, starting from the very first mile, starting from the time they give you the key, it costs over $10,000. And by tomorrow, you'll never be able to return it for what you paid for or remotely close to it. It's not going to praise for higher. So go ahead. So a house, highest esteem in terms of economics. You get you a house, you got gold and silver again. Times 1,000. Get you a house. Now you can exchange houses. If you read the House Grant Resolution, you'll understand it too. You can actually exchange houses to make money. Now the trick is, how do I get the house without spending any real money? So I can turn the house in and get back money. So I can become free and do my thing. So I can stop driving around with the diplomatic plates on my car that sounds like a motorcycle. Let's say that you have an extra $1,000 to put to the side every month for a whole year, rather than put this money in the bank and get little to nothing back in return. Let's stop right there. Don't read no more, it's gonna get confusing. Let's stop right there. What we'll find when you're looking at this economy, like I told you before, we said what? The tax lien takes priority over any claim of any person whose property has an encumbrance. Encumbrance means something hindering the potential of you making that making money off that property. Appreciation, what they call it. When you make money off your asset, it's called appreciation. Okay. This is the situation. Remember in school, because we got to talk about what a lien is. Every property has a lien on it. A lien represents, in this particular case in terms of properties, it represents the property being delinquent in property taxes for a whole year. This is all information you need right now. When a property goes delinquent for 1 year in property taxes, the lien comes on the radar. Some people say, I put a lien. I once met a brother who told me he put a lien on the White House. I said, why?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He doesn't even live in America anymore, and they won't let him in. That's stupid. Okay, so he said he put a lien on the White House. All right. Anyway, when you can't give some black people information, because when they try it out, they go crazy. The first problem is you don't put a lien on a property. Now, a lot of people say, I just put a lien on this property. You can't put a lien on something that already had it when you bought it. All properties have a lien on it. All properties have a lien on it. A lien represents, right, a property going delinquent in taxes. That's it. Property taxes. Property taxes is very important. That's what a lien is. Okay, so when you went to math class, how many of you remember when they started throwing every number really has a decimal at the end of it, but you just don't see it? And it's like, why you even teach me that from day one? I couldn't get that very, now it's getting confusing. They say in mathematics, every integer has a decimal at the end of it, but we just don't show it because a zero follows after it. So it's one the same as writing one. But if in the event the number is fractionalized, it makes the zero relevant. Okay? Or it makes the number after it relevant. So therefore, the zero, or the decimal part of it, the decimal has to come up. The decimal has to be on the radar when you fractionalize a number. But if it's just a whole integer and the number zero comes after it, there's no need to put the decimal there. That's what they say. Likewise with a lien on a property. The lien is there, affixed to every property you ever buy. The lien is there. However, it doesn't come on the radar until someone goes delinquent in paying their property taxes. It's like the imaginary decimal. Because now there's an encumbrance or something hindering the potential of depreciation of the property. That's important information. Now, let's go into a bank. Wouldn't it be nice if you put your money into a bank and amidst you putting your money into the bank, you find that if you save $1,000 in the bank, at the end of the year you probably get, what if they was willing to give you $270 every time you put $1,000 in the bank? Would you take that? How many would take that? What if every time you save $1,000, I pay you $270? That'd be fine. Would anybody give you $270 just for giving them $1,000 to save? Not to kill nobody, nothing. We're not putting no hit out on nobody. All we're saying is just for saving your money. What if you can make money just for saving your money? And what if you could put that same money in an account later for it to make you more money? You would say, how the hell do you do something like that? Oh, you mean CD account? Certificate of deposit, right? But the certificate that they're really talking about is a tax lien certificate, not the certificate they hand you. They do that, they play games. They throw you the G. They say open up a CD account, and they're not going to give you nothing going beyond 6%. I'm going to tell you that now. You ain't going to make no money off of that. Wow, $10, $15 extra. And they want to penalize you if you take your money out prematurely because they're using it to invest. You ain't make no money off no CD. Certificate of deposit, the certificate they talking about, is a certificate that they're getting as they investing in properties. We're going to talk about that. So what I'm going to teach today, and it's not that long. I made sure I'm not going to make it long. So you say, I got to weed through 2 hours of information just to understand how to do this. That's not productive and progressive information. We didn't have to go into the year the tax lien first came up. We don't have to do all that stuff. We're going to make it simple, but we got to just make sure we understand what a lien is and what property taxes are, what they represent. We're going to go into it. So, I say, Let's use tax liens as an annuity. We're going to use it as an annuity. This is like an annual payment. This is like when you, let's say you have lawsuit money coming in and they're going to pay you in intervals and they're going to pay you from 1 month to the next, from 1 month to the next, from 1 month to the next, okay? That's called an annuity. And what we come to find, right, we'd be better off establishing a business by paying for other people's taxes and let the property tax come in as an annuity. Annual pay. Now, oftentimes I tell people is, what do you do for a living though? You teach, right? I'm like, well, I do this is my spirituality. This is what I like doing. And you should do what you like doing. Right? But for a living, I pay people's taxes. Don't that sound crazy? 1 minute, like we're running from taxes. Don't want to pay. I want to be taxes in. Now I take on the burdens of other people's taxes for a living. I pay other people's taxes. Pay other people's taxes. Someone's going to say, you got to break that down. So I find out somebody hasn't paid their taxes and they owe $1,500 in taxes. I'm like, you're kidding me, son. Like, yeah, what? Owes $1,500 in taxes. Taxes? I get excited. 25% come on my head. They hear me. Some people ain't here know me like that. Where they at? Raise your hand. There they go. Take a look at those brothers. Over millions of dollars invested in property. They got millions of dollars invested in property. And you will say, now, what the hell are they doing? His father's in here too. Yes. But his father probably like, what the hell are you doing? Can't do it? But millions of dollars in the state and barely crossed the threshold of $1,500. It sounds crazy. And I be laughing all the time because I thought this was hard. I thought being successful was hard. It drives me nuts every time I start thinking about it. And I say, damn, the answers are there. Let me explain to you how all this works first, before we start talking about Texas and how fly Texas is. Let me explain. This is where it's so deep. Property tax. What does property tax pay for?
Services.
Thank you. Go ahead, keep going. Some of you have been coming to those Wednesday classes too. Y'all should be sharp as hell. Come on, you've been coming to those classes, man. Hospitals,
yeah.
police, checks, fire department, the roads, the highways, light bill in the hospital, school lunch, teacher salary. Property taxes. So if people don't pay their property taxes, the county government is responsible for making sure your highways are smooth. They're responsible for making sure the fire department has the supplies and they can pay them. The volunteers. Still give them something. They're responsible for making sure the light bill stays on. The light stays on. The light bill gets paid. They're responsible for school teachers' salary. Responsible for textbooks. This is what property taxes a lot. On account to the county government allocating the funds or appropriating them to pay off these things. But we're in a jam right now. You know what's the jam? All these foreclosures, these subprimes. SUBPRIMES. Personal homework, look it up, very important. Because of the worst thing going on for America is the best thing for all of us. Best thing. Property taxes help build or maintain the integrity of society on an infrastructure level and just overall social level. Tell me something. You think it's a coincidence, now that you know this information, what property taxes pay for, right? Do you think it's a coincidence? Do you think it's a coincidence that when you see a crack house, you not too long ago ran over a pothole? When you see vacant houses, it's not even safe to drive your car. You got low profile rims, because I'm one of those people, right? I use my tax money, I do niggerish things, like buy 22-inch rims. Your boy Sean told me what you said about me. Yeah, you know Paul, he likes Boston, so he gonna do the rim thing. He gonna do that. I was talking to Sean. He's like, yeah, he told me what you came up on, new car that you're driving. Oh yeah, some people say you conscious, man. You ain't posting by rims on your car. Man, I don't subscribe to this. I deserve it, damn it. I'm teaching the people. I should put 22s in my damn car. We all got our vices. I'm not drinking. I'm not smoking. I'm eating fried mushrooms and eating kale salad. Nigga, I need some 22-inch rims. Let me have my own vice. Everybody got their own. That's what I do. And wait till you see the lapis lazuli rims I'm coming with. Because lapis lazuli is piezoelectric. So that means the more pressure you compress on it, the more pressure you apply to lapis lazuli, the more it creates electromagnetic field. So I was thinking if I had 22-inch lapis lazuli rims, the weight of the car would make me kind of like have like a Knight Rider type of car, or a Transformer type of car. Like that shit might just sound like, yo, I'm going lapis lazuli next summer. I just have to find out what to make it. Because I want to use my conscious information. Or, you know, they have what they call cremation diamonds. Some of you came to my melanin lecture, where they can take your hair or the dead remains, as far as the skin is concerned, of your ancestry, and make diamonds. So I had a diamond made for my daughter from out here. So when I'm gone, my light can still be locked into that prison. Because you know, the Egyptians didn't just wear jewelry for no reason. It was their bodily organs and their ancestors that they was wearing inside of their chains. That's why they got buried with all those chains. Because when the light would come in through the pyramid shaft, it would be refracted to Sapu or Orion. And then they would be able to remanifest, because they had every of the major 7 organ systems in the form of a semi-precious stone, a precious stone, a diamond, a quartz, because your eyes is quartz, your heart is gold, literally, so they make the chain from the heart, parts of the chain from the heart. They take the eyes and put in quartz crystals inside the chain. From the pancreas is made up of chrome, like the chrome on the rims. They would take these things and make up chains and put the gems and stones in it from the organs. And when the light comes in through the pyramid shaft at select hours of the day, the light will be able to go, and your ancestors in the form of gems and diamonds as well, their light locked in to the diamonds or the stones will guide your light. And then each body part represented by a stone would be able to remanifest in Orion, according to the ancient Egyptians. And that's why they died with so much jewelry. Because it was their bodily organs and their ancestors. And today, now they found out that they can turn skin and hair into diamonds. And based on how perfectly your skin and your hair is melanin and a good diet, they can make a very valuable diamond. One point is, when I get some cash, I'm like, you know what? I do conscious things with my cash. So I'm gonna wear my ancestors now. And I'm like, you know what? I want my daughter walking around with her mother and father. Because if you understand music and the resonant frequencies, how it taps into the magical powers of crystals, you'll understand why a lot of us have the worst luck when we buy new jewelry in our community, because the jewelry is Caucasian ancestry. I shouldn't talk that spiritual stuff. Niggas like, yo, F the money, son. I want to go into that. Right? So, with good money, make some diamonds. So you have a diamond chain with your parents on it. I think that denotes more value than just the diamond itself. But how are we going to do that if we ain't got the money to get it? So we got to find out to get it and then do what you want to do with it. So I walk with my lapis lazuli rims. My grandmother and grandfather on my chain, swagging. And they may look nigga, but it's a gospel shit conscious. You just don't understand. That's what we do. We do conscious things. We can be able to fund somebody who has the mind but doesn't have the money in our community to do something powerful for us all. That's how this is supposed to work. Some people don't got the exact information. They just need some funding. But with some funding, they can do wonders with our community. Okay? So, we're talking about annuity. We found out what property tax represents. This we're going to be able to wrap up in 15 minutes too, and do Q&A. This is how fly it is. Property tax represents the highways being right? And I was making a correlation between bad highways, empty buildings or buildings being foreclosed upon, poor schools, start realizing, hold on, this is all connected. You don't have a good school, you don't have a good highway. You don't have a good highway, you have vacant homes. Vacant homes are not generating revenue. If it's not generating revenue, property tax is not being paid. If property tax is not being paid, we can't pay teachers. The school's going to be overcrowded. The lunch is going to be horrible. Fire departments, we're not going to have too much in our neighborhood. Churches, we're going to allow, because we're going to convince you, according to the book of Genesis chapter 14, that Melchizedek came to Abraham. Abraham had to get 10% of his earnings. So you got to come up with some money so you can get 10% of your earnings or a check. So the church is going to encourage you to get a job, work on the books, right? So they can get 10% of your earnings, but people who are earning something are inclined to have to pay taxes. So we're going to make sure churches are set up all through your community to inspire you to not just quit, but to get a job and give up 10% of your earnings. So a lot of times checks get 10% of your check before you even get it. It's a fact, absolute fact. Oh yeah. Powerful stuff. So we say bad highways, potholes all over the place, empty buildings, crackhead buildings, foreclosed properties, poor school conditions, lower criteria for education, it all has a connection. Property tax. The highest paid teachers in the world, well in America, we should say, let's focus on Illinois and Texas. They have one of the lowest rates of foreclosures, so they have more property taxes being generated, which means they can pay teachers more money. Not coincidence. Not a coincidence. They pay teachers more money than any other state. If I was going to be a teacher, I would go straight for Illinois or Texas, because they generate more revenue and they give you back more interest. Chicago gives you 18% interest. Texas gives you 25% interest on lien. We'll go on it. So why is the tax lien so important? Because we're in a day and time where so many houses are being foreclosed upon, the county had to construct or create some kind of methodology that the people can employ, which is called the monetization of foreclosures. What does that mean? Monetizing foreclosures. It means making money off of the whole foreclosure process taking place in America. This means that the county government will pay you, mandated by law, a percentage of your money back if you pay someone else's taxes. They will give you 16 to 25% of your money in return upon your principal, which is the money you invest. They'll give you 16 to 25% of your money back. Texas is 25%. That's why I mentioned any give it to you twice. It's ridiculous. So what we're saying is, if we use it as a bank, you know, people save their money. You want to save their money. But if your money doesn't have a purpose, you tend to use it. You put your money in the account, you say, I'm going to leave it here, I ain't going to touch it. 2 weeks later, you have to touch it. You get used to touching it, you spend it all out, back to zero again. Correct? And you never get a chance to hold it. But what if every time you saved up your money, you can get the money right back? Not just get it back, but get it back 600 to 700% more than what the bank will give you on any day. Even if the teller was on crack and couldn't have the ability to make rational decisions, they wouldn't give you back 600 to 700% like the county government would. You can get 600 to 700% more than what the bank will give you any day. So why wouldn't you do it? So we said it's mandated by law. If you come and you pay for someone else's taxes, they're delinquent property taxes, the government will give you 16, I said government, not your homeboy down the block, not polite. The government mandates by law, it's mandated by law, they have to give you 16 to 25% of your investment money back. And that is not it. Well, we're going to stop there, we're going to go somewhere. That's not it. Let's go. They're not just going to give you 60 to 25% of what you put in. Like, let's say you pay $2,000 on one delinquent tax. They're not only going to give you 16 to 25% of the delinquent taxes. You know what they're going to do? Before they give you that, they're going to hit the property owner with a late penalty. Guess who the late penalty goes to? They're going to hit them up with what they call additional surcharges. And guess who the additional surcharges go to? You. They're going to add all that up they give you 16 to 25%. And if you use this as your bank and say, look, I'm just gonna put $500 to the side because I want to save it, instead of save $500, buy a tax lien. If you plan to really save it and don't touch it, buy a tax lien. So you can get back your money. If you got $1,000 and ain't doing nothing, and you want to save it up until the end of the year, next year, so it can build into $2,000, $3,000, then don't put it in the bank. Use the tax lien business as a bank and put it into tax lien. You might get back $400 or $500 on top of your $1,000. Let's say you did that consistent every month. Let's say you could afford to put away $250 every month, or $1,000. Let's say $1,000. You can't put $1,000, cut it into half, $500. Cut that into half, $250, whatever you get. Let's just say you can put aside $1,000 a month. Turn into whatever it is that you have. Make it zero so we understand how to cut it in half easier. That means by the time the year is over, right, I would have in or around $5,000 extra just for saving $1,000 up every month. That means in 10 years, I will have $50,000 that I didn't save that saved. Oh, if you only could put $500 up, you will have only $25,000. If you only had $250, you could cut that up, $12,500 extra. I know there's been some years I could have used that extra $12,500 by putting, I know I ran $250 every month that I spent ridiculously, plus that. I could have put that to the side, 10 years later, it'd been that. Do you have to wait 10 years? No, you can get it in real time. I'm just saying accumulatively. 10 years, that's $50,000 extra dollars. Oh yeah, it's not just $50,000 extra dollars, because if you put it into the right account called Qualified Retirement Plan, and I'm gonna go over it again if you ain't write it down, Qualified Retirement Plan, your $50,000 is gonna look like $70,000, especially if you're in the lower tax bracket, or higher tax bracket, I should say. When a property goes into delinquency in terms of property tax, a lien comes up on the radar. Someone can pay for the lien. The county government, right, is going to create a tax lien. Then they're going to sell it at an auction for you and me to buy, right? Then you're going to purchase it. Then you're going to get a tax lien certificate. When you get the tax lien certificate, what's going to happen is, it's going to denote probably the mortgage on the property. It's going to denote your principal, how much you put in. It's going to denote the, your interest, which you're going to get back, the late fees and penalties, as it relates to when you got it. So someone may say, well, what if the property owner doesn't pay back the taxes? How do I get my profit? You have to wait. This is called redemption period. Once you pay for the property taxes, you're actually helping the person that owes the money. It's called redemption period or probation period. It's the time allotted for a person to be able to pay for the delinquent property taxes before you execute your right to foreclose, thereby giving a 60 to 90-day statement in the mail certified to all the parties that have an invested interest in the property.